We are going to finish out the semester by doing a business simulation called Rico Sanchez Disc Jockey. A couple of things before we get started are listed up here. You'll complete this simulation on your own. This is a test grade. You may use your textbook for reference. You have your online textbook, even though we don't use it a whole lot. The chapters are there and the examples. Along with your sheets, you will notice that I have a sheet with the chapter summaries. So if you forgot how to do a couple of things, prepare a worksheet, adjusting entries, and so forth, they are all listed right there, and you can find them in your textbook. The entire project will be completed in the classroom. You cannot use your phone. Simulation is due by the end of class on Wednesday, January 13th, and then there will be a written test that I'll get you prepared for that is going to be on Friday, January 15th. Okay, let's take a look at how this is set up. It says, this simulation covers the transactions completed by Rico Sanchez, Disc Jockey, a service business organized as a proprietorship. Rico Sanchez, the owner, began his disc jockey business on September 1st of the current year. They perform for clubs and private parties. They made arrangement with the owners of 2 large clubs to allow them to pay for services on the 1st and the 15th of the month. All other customers must pay when the disc jockey services are performed. The accounting cycle, Rico Sanchez disc jockey uses 1 month fiscal period. The fiscal period for the simulation begins on September 1st and ends on September 30th of the current year. Source documents are listed right here. We will have receipts, check stubs, service invoices, and memorandums. And again, we haven't done the journal for quite some time, but it'll all come back to you. Contents of this simulation. This first one is your transactions in this booklet. And it's not the booklet, but it'll be these sheets. The transactions are listed here and what we are going to do every day. You also have a journal. And if you notice, you will have 4 pages of journal that you will be using. The third thing is a general ledger. And you will notice the general ledgers are right here, pages 13, 14, 15. And you can see how these will be in the green. Those are your general ledgers that you will be posting to. And you'll have a packet of printed forms. And you'll see that you'll have forms. If you look at number 12 here, it'll be your forms for figuring out your debits equal your credits in your journal. You will also have a worksheet, income statement, balance sheet, post-closing trial balance, and a reconciliation of a bank statement form. So again, that is everything in the contents of this simulation. All right, so next you're going to go and take a look at your instructions. You will notice that I did write the dates of what you are going to do. So you'll see that you'll start here, you'll work through those transactions, and here is where you should be when we start class on Tuesday. And then Wednesday, and you can see, and so forth, it goes through here. Again, if you run a little bit behind, that's okay as long as it's not huge. Okay, so let's take a look at this first transaction. September 1st. Receive cash from the owner, Rico Sanchez, $2,500, receipt number 1. Okay, so we are going to go to your journal page, page 1 of your journal, and we are going to journalize this. The date is September 1st, 2020. And again, this is the first time you've actually written on the form. Your debit is to cash. Since we receive cash, we're going to go over and put $2,500 in our cash. Our credit is a general credit. Anytime we write something in our general debit and credit, we have to write the account title. Remember, you do have a chart of accounts right here that you have. So if you need a reference for the accounts that you are going to use, so let's go back to our journal page. The account that we're going to use is Rico Sanchez Capital. And the last step is the document number. It is receipt number 1. Okay, so that takes care of our first transaction. So again, as you go through here, you may want to cross them off somehow that you're done with them, or just put an X through that. Okay, on September 2nd, you can see that we have transaction number 2 and number 3. Let's go to number 2. Paid monthly rental fee. Okay, I'm right here on this one right here. Okay, paid monthly rental fee on turntables and other equipment, $680, check number 1. Business records, or the business records all rentals in the rental expense account when payment is made. Okay, to hop to our journal now, we are going to record that in our journal. The date is the 2nd. We have a general debit of $680. That account goes to rental expense. Since we paid cash, we have a cash credit of $680. And our docket number is check number 1. Again, when you are writing in your journal, remember this area here where I boxed off, that is for your cents. And again, we don't use dollar signs, decimal places, or commas. Okay, back into our instructions. We'll do a few more here. So we are done with this instruction. And we're going to flip to the next page. Number 3, we're still on September 2nd. Paid cash for new music, $350, check number 2. At the time of purchase, the business records the purchase cost of all music and equipment in the supplies, music, and equipment account. Okay, so we're going to record transaction number 3, paid cash for new music. So we're going to go to our journal. The date is the 2nd. We have a debit of $350. And that goes to our supplies. And you will notice in your chart of accounts, in your supplies, that you have 2 supplies accounts. Okay, so let's go back in there and we will write, it's supplies for music and equipment. And we paid cash, so it's a cash credit of $350. Document, check 2. And again, remember, you do the 5 steps. Remember, it is the date, the debit part, the credit part, writing the account title, and your document number. Okay, going back to our instructions. We are on this page right here. We are done with this instruction. Now it is September 3rd. Paid cash for business insurance. The business records all insurance costs in the prepaid insurance account. Remember, you're not using insurance expense until we do our adjustment. So we paid cash for insurance, $300. Again, we will go to our journal. The entry is for the 3rd. And we are going to debit $300 to prepaid insurance. And we will credit cash for $300. Our source document is check number 3. We'll do 2 more. Okay, so let's go back into our instructions. I should just go to that page. We are done with this one. Number 5, paid cash to establish a petty cash fund, $150. 2 accounts affected, cash and petty cash. So we're getting cash to put into our petty cash fund. The date is the 3rd. We are going to debit $150 to petty cash. Credit $150. And the document number is C4. Remember, we take $150 in, we get cash to establish our petty cash fund. Okay, going back to our instructions, we are done with this one right here. So we'll do one more. September 5th, you bought office supplies on account, not for cash, from Office and Home Incorporation, $50. Memorandum 1, the business records the cost of all office supplies in the supplies for office account at the time of purchase. And again, remember, we do have those 2 supplies accounts, and you have to keep them separate. One for office, one for supplies, music, and equipment. Okay, let's go to our journal. The date is the 4th. We are going to debit $50 to supplies for the office. And since we didn't pay cash, we are crediting, remember, $50. And this goes to our accounts payable, office, and home. And it's real important that you write everything out, no abbreviations, unless you absolutely run out of room. And our last step is to write the source document M1. Remember, when you use 2 lines, you only have to write the date once for each transaction and the source document once for each transaction. Okay, taking a look at the rest of the instructions for the rest of today, you will go through and you will complete those and those. And you'll see once you get to the top of the next page, it says we will start Tuesday, January 5th right there.